Yeah, this matchup, of course, Idra, we talk about his ZVP win ratio at a 57%. JYP doesn't have anything amazing, but he said that he is comfortable with that matchup. He'd be right around 66. The thing here is that historically, you know that Greg's biggest and toughest matchup has been versus Protoss, and it's been no secret. Greg himself has said it many, many times. So in addition to not only having to play his own teammate in a team kill situation and only one of them being able to advance onto the championship pools, to also have to go up against what is arguably his weakest racial matchup.
Now it looks like we're going to be heading in to MLG Daybreak as the first map. A lot of players say that this is good for either race. It's all going to come down to the skill in the top right. One of the legends of MLG and one of the most notorious figures in all of esports. Evil Genius's Idra.
And in the southwest corner, his teammate, who certainly found a proper home at Evil Geniuses. He's the Protoss player that Idra most certainly knows the ins and outs of, but can he overcome it? Give it up for EGIJYP.
Now, I do want to talk a little bit about that historic struggle that we see EGIdra succumbing to. In this matchup, the big moments for Zerg are between 10 and 15 minutes. What is the compositional choice of the Zerg player? Traditionally, we see a Zerg go all Roach and do a lot of aggression, perhaps Roach Hydra, Roach Hydra Corruptor, all those layer-focused Zerg plays. But what we've been seeing is that Protosses, especially like JYP, just sit passively, wait till they are on 3 bases, and attack at 17 minutes. This is after the Zerg is maxed on layer units, but before the Zerg has had the chance to build those Infestors and Broodlords. The way that Zergs have suddenly figured it out, largely driven by the play of Stefano, is to go for very early Infestor mid-games. Not only can you stay alive with Infestor Roach Ling just as effectively as Roach Hydra, but also you already have one of the key ingredients of going Infestor Broodlord.
No, that's a good point, and we've been seeing a lot of the Zerg struggle with modifying these timings in order to compensate for what the Protoss is doing by offsetting theirs a little bit earlier or sometimes a little bit later. And the pool is going to go down first for Idra. We now see him sending 2 drones down, one to attack the pylon, and he did not get down quick enough. JYP may go down for a block on the third.
I have a feeling, Marcus, he went for Forge first. It looks like he knew 100 minerals was going to be tied up. Is he planning on having 200 minerals tied up? Looks like EG's Idra is patiently waiting. Where is that other drone?
Where did that other drone go?
Did it just head home? He's building 4 lings. There's drone number 2. And if I'm in Puma, or excuse me, JYP's shoes, God, I'm still calling him Puma. If he ends up sneaking this drone down, oh, there it is. And will he plant the pylon? Is EG's JYP going to plant the block? Oh, he misses.
He does miss. And you know, Greg really wanted to get that down. Idra now has these lings out that he can go ahead and take out that pylon. He'll just send 3 there, maybe 2, maybe 3. They got an undecisive Zergling over here. And now we're going to have that pylon go down. Third base will go up, but the probe is still there, and the lings, of course, want to get rid of that threat as well. Overlord already inside. And, we'll start checking things out here.
Oh, now, this is a very important timing that not too many Zergs take into account. The traditional gateway goes down by 3 minutes and 30 seconds. That allows for fast warp gate harass, fast air harass. Anything with the word fast revolves around that gateway going down quick so the cybernetics core can pop out quickly as well. But you think about the position that JYP put himself in. He built 1 pylon at the entrance, then he had to build the cannon for defense because he forced Idra to build those extra Zerglings. As a result, that gateway went down 30 seconds later. That is huge. Might not sound like much, but that's the amount of time it takes to build a Roach. So suddenly those attacks that came before any units had been started for Idra will now arrive right when those Roaches pop up. So suddenly JYP, I really honestly think, has to focus on economy and can't go for some sort of fast attack play.
I mean, right now, constantly pushing out probes is going to get the first zealot out of that gateway while the cybernetics core goes down. And Sean, is this blocked? Is it?
Now, in the real world, if we go to this forge, I mean, this shouldn't even be Ultralisk proof, but in reality, given the way those hexes work, yeah, no Zerglings can actually sweep up there. This is absolutely perfect placement by JYP, having everything as tucked back as far as possible. And now JYP moving out with a single Zealot. I'm a little surprised to see JYP chrono boosting his cybernetics core. Wow. Is he really going to go for that +1 push? I mean, he just doesn't, it won't be fast. It'll arrive at around 8:15.
I mean, he is chrono boosting up that Forge right now. Taking a look, the third is up. It's looking pretty good as far as drones are concerned. He had a perfect drone transfer. We get drones going out to the natural as well with another queen on the way. And just a few more Zerglings out. He's got a second gas now, but no Roach Warren has gone down yet. Over on JYP's side, he stopped chrono boosting on the side core. And looks like he's going to be focusing mostly on that Forge. Nope, there he goes. He throws another one down on Warp Gate.
Wow, this is going to be a late Warp Gate push. I mean, it's still a minute out. Even with Chrono Boost, he can maybe cut that down to 40 seconds. But, I mean, this is not looking too great for JYP. I like that he's getting these geysers at his second, so that way he can do some sort of transition. But Idra is already going for the layer, and there's the two Zealots sprinting into action. Has Idra gotten Zergling speed yet? Nope, just going straight for the Roach. And a nice surround by Idra.
Yep, forcing these Zealots to actually engage, and he loses only a Ling, if even that much, there in that engagement. Now, is he going to scout the pylon? That'd be a very important, crucial kill there for Idra. He's at least sending the Lings around. Feels like there's probably one around here. And, there's going to be another Warp Bid before he can get there.
But you'll notice it's 8:15 is when the Zealots are coming in. And I mean, Idra, all he needs to do is just play a little bit calmly, move back. He's doing a good job. Look, he's pulling the Zealots to the left. Amazingly nice play right there by Idra, buying himself a little bit of time. It looked like he was supply blocked a smidge. He's now sprinting out with 8 Roaches, and we're seeing 4 more Zealots out for JYP. Idra is controlling this perfectly. He's going to pick off that Zealot at the back. He's going to run in circles. His Roaches are nearly out, and they're all being produced nearby at that hatch. Idra is defending this amazingly well.
Yeah, a lot more do come in, though, with the combination of the Roaches and the Lings. Might be able to get some surround and kill a couple more of these off. JYP being a little indecisive himself now as he turns around. Now he'll engage once again. He does that, though, to save that last Zealot, of course, with no speed. It's about ready to complete. No speed on these Roaches either. They'll just run all the way home, but Idra continuing to pile on some units here. And now back to drones.
I really love the way that Idra defended that, but at the same time, that 4-minute gateway at the start of the game just really bit JYP in the ass. He had to do a faster Warp Gate push to be effective, but Idra held it off relatively easily. Now, the bigger question is, how is Idra going to play the mid game? Is he going to overcommit to those layer tech units, or is he going to go for those faster infestors as we've been seeing the modern Zerg do?
And we'll know very, very soon here. One other thing that Idra really needs to do is get down that pylon that was at the south corner. He did see it. He saw the Zealots warped in there as well. But if he gets rid of that, in fact, there's going to be another warp in of Stalkers down there. Huge warp in of Stalkers as all 7 gates are activated to get those in. Macro hatch going down at the 3rd. Most of the units now sitting right outside the natural. Good amount of Roaches here. Roach speed is going to be finishing up, and he will have that to his advantage here once this engagement actually begins. There we see Overlord going down. Queen out there spreading creep, going to have to move back out. Will supply block Idra momentarily, but he sees this coming.
And it looks like Idra almost has that Roach speed done. 147 to 150 food. In the supply count, we see 25 Roaches out. Oh, a nice snag. Gets a trio of Roaches. Will die relatively easily. Can Idra get up enough? Does he have Link speed? Oh, he does have Link speed. That reinforcement is going to be so key.
Yeah, we've got 11 more Roaches on the way as well. What is he going to give up here? He's trying to avoid. Oh, we got Roaches coming in from the back, and he will be able to surround this army.
The excellent play by Idra. That extra hatch has popped up. We see the 2 spine crawlers finishing as well. Another 12 Roaches en route. JYP is going to be in a little bit of trouble if he's not careful. We see the excellent blink control by JYP. Sentries have been eliminated. Level 1 Carapace nearly complete. There it finishes. JYP pulling back. Idra springing into action.
Yeah, I mean, Blink's only being moderately effective here as Idra continues to reinforce with units. 16 more Roaches are on the way, and that will completely stuff this. He also did have the Spine Crawler in the back, which helped out significantly when that battle engagement actually began. And here he goes, going to be able to catch a few more Roaches off, and he gets closer and closer, nudging to the inside, the heart of the core of that Stalker army. And he does manage to take out a few more, but JYP with some great control here. forcing this battle and actually getting a few kills that I don't think Idra wanted him to get.
And there it looks like Idra spreading himself forward. Keep in mind, the big weakness of Idra is the late game in this matchup, and it looks like JYP hitting Idra where Idra is strongest. Look at that supply cap. DJ weak. He is at 150 to 81. There is no third in sight. Look at Idra keeping a hawk eye on that third base with that one Overlord floating off to the left.
Yep.
Amazing control. He's going to goop it up. He's going to use that Overlord to puke all over the ground, and you can't build on puke in StarCraft 2.
Yep, you cannot. And I mean, that means the Stalkers will have to pull back. It does look like that's exactly what they're doing right now. There it is.
Puke! Oh no, and he retreats with a hearty.
Now, both of the pylons in the southeast corner were taken care of, but now these roaches, you know, they have kind of free reign over the map. There's a few more lings as well. There is now an observer with the army of JYP.
Yeah.
And these middle rocks are going to go down, making a quicker attack path here as the creep begins to spread. Also the fourth in the southeast corner.
This is the big divergence point in this matchup, where do I go for mass layer tech, ling, roach upgrades with Spire, or do I go for a faster infestation pit? The problem is that the instant Idra gets to maxed, when he wants to get infestors, he has to sacrifice units to free that food up. When he wants to get corruptors, he has to sacrifice food. Holy Stalkers! What the Stalkers? That is so many Stalkers. Idra looks like he is continuing to pull back to go into a direct engagement. There are a lot of Stalkers for JYP, but Idra has too many roaches.
Oh yeah, actually that was a pretty good engagement there for Idra. He is going to back off there. He did have the choice of potentially taking that group of roaches and actually going in for an attack on the third, but it wasn't done. He is still going to be able to not only take out a few more Stalkers, but also probably force a cancel here. He's immediately going to start going after these Stalkers. One hitting a few, but the blink backwards. He's got to be careful. He doesn't want to just throw these units away.
I don't like this play. It's a little bit dangerous. And now it looks like JYP is going to chase down all those roaches. Oh no, even with the speed upgrade. And now it looks like JYP morphing in yet another 7 Stalkers. Idra's roach army is rapidly dwindling as JYP continues to do some absolutely perfect micro. Holy cow. And look at that. It was maxed to 100 food. Now the gap has been closed down to a mere 50, and it will close even more.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, just roaches just being completely melted there. Now a lot of lings are on the way, and the muta production has begun.
Oh, interesting.
Now here actually is a Zerg versus Protoss strategy that I love. There's obviously multiple ways to play this, but using the mutas to harass and then using this ground force to attack the third while he's dealing with the mutas in the main, you know, it's something that really tests the limit of a Protoss player and how exactly they're going to engage with it. But I think also with these lings out on the field, that's also going to be a great little thing that Idra has up his sleeve. But as the upgrades continue to pour out for JYP, these blink Stalkers are just going to get more and more deadly.
I mean, Idra's real comfort zone is generally the layer tech, going for the Roach Hydra Corruptor, and now, you know, as all Zergs have been problem-solving more towards the Hive, more towards the Infestor, we see Idra problem-solving towards Mutalisks and Zerglings. Like you were saying, that very aggressive style of play, but the real key component, that Baneling nest we see quivering in the main base. Once those Banelings come into play, counterintuitively, Banelings are exactly what you need against Blink Stalkers for Mutaling.
First Muta's already making their way in. There's 4 Stalkers there, so once those numbers get a little bit higher, he might be able to engage those directly. Right now, he does have about 11 Mutalisks, and really the Muta's job is to just try to make this Blink army move around, but he's got to be careful. One Muta already falling. The Lings are there. Oh, another one almost goes. The Lings are there to help out, but the Roaches were not there. And so I think he just wants to have a few more Mutas before he begins this super harassment now. There's a few Banelings as well. The Roaches are here. And, I mean, is it going to be enough?
I mean, I got to admit, that was incredible self-control from JYP. It's so easy to get caught out of position with these, and there's, again, nice blink control. So easy to blink forward too far right there. JYP blinks forward, kills off 1 Muta, and then plays it cool. There's the Templar Archives going down. JYP mined out in the main, suddenly not a vulnerable point anymore, but oh, the Banelings. He's still, oh no, he's still far away from speed for the Banelings, and it looks like Idra gets caught at a terrible angle.
Yeah, loses quite a few there. Mostly Lings, a few Roaches do go down. This army separated just a little bit. but had he had that, their baneling speed is done now and he can attack. Did he bait out enough force fields though? It looks like the sentries did use all of their available energy at that point, so that actually, you know, despite the fact that he suffered some losses, might work out in his favor. Here he's going to move it again, but he does not have that many roaches.
He didn't wait for his 50 lings. Now he's springing forward, and there the baneling's going to get some big hits, but it is not nearly enough. JYP, oh, Idra, such a tragic game. Did the perfect defense, followed it up with pressure, but still neglecting that fast investor tech, trying to stick to roaches too long. The blunder that Zergs more and more are avoiding entirely. I mean, roaches they're becoming so passé, Marcus.
Now, we've got a lot of roaches and lings still continuing to pour out on the field. The infestation pit is about to finish up. No hive quite yet. +2 air is going down. These mutas being very, very careful as he sees this army move over to that 4th base. Is he going to attack from behind? Blinking forward to take out a few more mutas. JYP really playing a patient game.
Oh, Idra, where's the rest of the Zerglings? A huge storm.
Oh. That was both the storms, too. No more storms left in that army.
But I mean, the Stalkers, I mean, just spam around on the Stalkers. Some of them have 10 kills, 12 kills.
Yeah.
I mean, the Stalkers have been so damaging all game long. The bottom right expansion under some serious fire, and Idra goes for the counter.
Yeah, he does. Now, the one thing is that there's not much defense here. If he had a bunch of spine crawlers, I think that this would be something he'd certainly be much more happy about. But look at this, the army is going to move back, and that means Idra might be able to do a significant amount of damage here before JYP actually makes it here. To take out any production would be big, and the baneling's going to hit all those probes. Almost everything goes down. However, he doesn't have any banelings to actually do anything with, and so he's going to take out the pylons here, try to interrupt the production, and deal with what is left of JYP's army.
As JYP snakes around to the front, it's pretty much going to be just Stalker, but that blink control is so good. There's no infestors on the map. It's going to be too hard to do any kind of fungling. The blink from JYP continues to be impeccable. Lings clean up the main base, but the cybernetics core still stands.
I mean, I think this move is probably the smartest decision that Idra's had in this game. He's going to catch 4 Stalkers out in the middle. Actually, no, he's going to shy away from those because he can start moving over to that northwest 3rd and 4th. We have a bunch of lings on the way. Actually, more lings are coming out. The muta's now moving over to this 3rd base.
Templar. Oh, big storm. Another huge storm. Look at the spread. Idra's control. Amazing with those Mutalisks. Now eliminating all the cannons, and the lings intercept the Stalkers in the middle, delaying as much as he can. Can Idra take out the probes? 34-33 now. Blink Stalkers advancing in. Idra has 30 Mutalisks on the field, 29, losing a lot.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and you know, this is where he's got to be careful, because even though the Zerg might think, oh, look at all this damage I've done, there's still this large standing army for JYP. Another hatchery is going to go down. We have another link counterattack in the main. It's going to get the Templar Archives. There he takes it down, possibly another Nexus. Now, can JYP just survive up to 2 bases? He's up to only 4 gateways right now. He's lost his Templar tech. I think that he, well, his Cybernetics core almost gone as well. So the counterattack is the one thing that Idra's got to be so worried about right now. Is he at a point where he's got so many drones that he can just make a ton of spine crawlers? Not particularly. And he's having to rebuild that 4th as well. However, if he can interrupt this 4th base from going down, he's going to get 1 high Templar, going to take out a pylon as well, and those cannons.
This would be big if he was able to take this out, but there's the storm. The Archons, Idra would, yeah, he has to run to that top left side. Another storm goes down, but Idra is pinned. DJ Wheat, oh no! The Cybernetics core is
gone down. It has gone down. And here, oh, he's going to go for the High Templar. The blink by the Stalkers. Only one of the High Templars pick up, and he can't lose any of those mutas. Now the Stalkers on the chase. Even the Archon getting in on there. So many mutas lost.
It hurts to watch. Now down to 20. Was at 40 not long ago. And we see JYP playing this out calmly and smoothly as he can be.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the tech, what's left for JYP, he's rebuilding himself a Cybernetics core, rebuilding more gateways as it can't quite go up to back to Templar Tech yet. However, again, he just has this amazing standing army. More mutas are coming out, and here we go. The spine crawlers starting to move out from Idra's various bases to the front. However, now JYP has a much more limited area that he's actually got to defend. And so there's and more mutas go down. I mean, there's less room for attack by Idra.
Oh, pathogen glands finally begin for Idra, but is his gas count going to be too low? He still has geysers running in the main, but this is going to have to be a sharp and fast tech switch. He is now at 30 seconds on that pathogen glands. That means he can start the infestors now. Boom, there's 6 infestors go down. Idra with these Mutalisks buying time as best he can.
I mean, the Mutalisks are doing a great job. I mean, sending JYP's armies back. JYP knows that he cannot really just leave that area undefended. If he loses another base, that might be just too difficult for him, even with the standing army that he's got. There's a few, there we go, those idle mutas move to attention now. And what is JYP going to do? I mean, he's not really making an effort to rebuild anything in his natural, not really reason to. He is still creating observers and immortals out of the robotics facility, but he's basically relocated. He's moved. They asked him, you know, we've got a nice job for you, JYP. It's in the northwest quadrant here of Daybreak. You know, we'll pay all your moving expenses, and he seems to have stabilized quite well.
All you have to do is sacrifice your home, and JYP's like, I'm in. You know, in this position, I think the best play for Idra is exactly this. Look at this, very smart play. He's building spine crawlers back in his main and then stepping them forward to the center of the map. He is now going spine crawler, infestor in the middle. He's going to try to secure more bases, and it looks like we're going to slowly approach that lake. And yeah, the Neural Parasite, quite cute. He can easily snatch up the Archons and the Immortals. It doesn't look like JYP has any opportunity to get a mothership at any point in time, which is really the final component of that PVZ army. But you know, now that we're kind of in this lull of action, I want to come back and just talk a little bit about Idra's mid-game decision-making that seemed to alternate between these brilliant decisions and these puzzling decisions. You know, the decision to go only Roach against a player going Blink Stalker was a little puzzling. Sure, he maybe could have overwhelmed, but it's so much safer to go Infester because he knows he has the time and the opportunity to do it. And then brilliant decision with a lot of these pullbacks as transition to Mutaling, but then direct engaging with the Mutaling, not waiting for his army to recoup. Now Idra is finally in a period of some brilliant decisions, and it looks like JYP stepping forward. There's the fungal that he needs. And now the big engagement where JYP wants to retreat. He cannot. A counterattack also happening by Idra in the bottom left.
And here we go. He's going to blink forward. All the infestors now, they need to dump their energy whatever they can. Right now, they are all very, very low, but now 4 Archons out. How is Idra going to deal with this? Quickly, this army takes out all of those spine crawlers, and now it is just him and the base at GG.
Ouch. A painful loss for Idra, quite honestly. Deflected the attack with ease, went to the third, puked on it, saw that there was no base there, and all Idra had to do was get the correct composition and the appropriate choice of units. Instead, the mass Roach, the Mutaling, just didn't really end up doing too much. Deflected again and again.
Yeah, and although the counterattack seemed to be the right decision at the time, you know, it just allowed JYP a less area that he had to defend. He did lose some tech, but he was able to stabilize. If Idra would have had another push beyond that counterattack, maybe, you know, it would have just been so tough, right? But in the decision that he actually ended up making some more mutas, and although he controlled the space in the air quite nicely in the north, it just wasn't enough. So, guys, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, Game 2 between EGIdra and JYP. I'm DJ Wheat.
I'm Day 9. Don't go anywhere because Day 2 has just begun.